point right now where we have a number of contacts that are entered in the system, and what I've found is with the team that some of the folks are still catching up and recording that activity in Salesforce, and some others have activity in here, but it may not necessarily show up. So we're a little bit behind in making sure that we get all that information recorded in Salesforce. Christy, are you on the line?
Yes, sir.
Hello. I know that you've been very diligent this past week in getting contacts in and putting that information in terms of the follow-up. I'm curious to know if you had any shortcuts available that you can share with everybody on how to make that process smoothly and get it done quickly.
Actually, Mike, I've found that it just helps to stay in Salesforce all day long and make sure that every outbound piece of communication, if that's just an email or if it's directly related to one of these Baker plays, I mean, that's really the only thing I've found that makes it easier is just to not leave Salesforce.
Okay.
So, Christy, it's not reflected on Mike's dashboard. Actually, you are. I did check on this. That Mike can look in over your shoulder if he wants via Tony's dashboard. But in looking here, you have a total of 49 records just in the past couple of weeks, not just related to this play, but some other things that you've been doing in Salesforce. You say that you keep your Salesforce open. So what else are you doing? When you are on the phone and talking with the customers or trying to reach them?
Well, it's become a matter of kind of reconditioning my morning habit also. Instead of sitting down with my pen and writing down all of my to-dos, I'm trying to train myself to put all of my to-dos and tasks into Salesforce. That seems to have made a difference. Also, instead of going into Outlook to email a customer or client, just go ahead and do that through Salesforce. So everything just rolls up in there and shows as active versus moving, setting aside time to move from, Outlook over to Salesforce from, say, my SIMP file.
Excellent. All right. So it's just a matter of some reconditioning with some behaviors, right? Tony? There's always easy ways to find your way around. Okay, click on that opportunities by week.
Okay.
The chart on the top left.
Oh, cool.
And you see your opportunities?
Yep, for advocate.
So go ahead. Yeah, just go ahead and open that one up.
Okay.
All right. So when you created this opportunity, as a consequence of reaching out to, who is the contact role? Could you hover over her name?
Her name. Where are my contacts? Oh.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sandra. Okay, so you reached out to Sandra, and you staged this at needs analysis. Why?
When I had a conversation with her, I told her that, a lot of hospitals run with us, and I wanted to send her some PDF examples of some of the hospitals that have run with us, and she said that was a great idea. What I neglected to do was to get her email address. So I had actually reached out to Tony last week and said, Tony, is it okay if we send out a hard copy of the letter? And we both agreed yes, as long as we made sure that we put in the system that the letter had gone out. But the reason why I made it a needs analysis was because with the letter I was going to send her some PDF examples.
Okay. So when you talked to her, she was clearly interested.
Yeah, she wanted to see what we had. She didn't think that it was, she didn't feel that the way that they advertise is regionally, but I also told her that we have a regional model.
Okay. So absolutely you did the right thing, that there is a discussion ongoing. This is more than just a prospect. You've connected with her. There is a level of interest. You're going to further the conversation. You have other activities that you're going to do. And so you've staged this at 1% at the needs analysis stage. So all this time now, from now on, you're going to be working your activities through the opportunity record. So you see where it says open activities?
Yes.
All right, so she's done correctly here, initial call to client. All right, you have an open activity to follow up with this. And then as you log calls, if you hover over activity history, so as you talk to her, then you can log a call, send emails associated directly with this opportunity. In addition to that, if you will come off of this hover, if you send her something, if you send her any notes, or if you have anything that you just want to write out, do you see where it says notes and attachments? Would you click new note? So as she is working this opportunity, she can use this as her scratch pad to keep track of where she is. This is merely that is a scratch pad, notes and attachment as she's working the opportunity.
Cool.
All right, can you cancel out of this?
So when you say that, you're talking about like call updates or anything at all related to
anything that notes and attachments. If there's not a place for it in the opportunity record, it's just a way for you to have it at your fingertips when you open up this opportunity. Anything that you need that you'd be otherwise digging around in your computer for, or your desk, or your notepad, or your BlackBerry. Okay? Can you also hover over notes and attachments? If you are working on a proposal or have other documents, you can also attach files to this opportunity so you'll have to reference as well instead of saving it on your desktop.
Okay, in terms of opportunities, we're building our opportunities. We have some nice activity in different stages amongst many of you, but not all of you. You can see that, let's see, we've got Greg, you're there. Who are we missing?
I'm missing, but I really have to put Chubb in as an opportunity.
I was thinking about you this morning, Roberta, and I was thinking, wow, this Chubb thing, I don't even think I've seen it anywhere.
I know. I have to go over with you to be sure I know what I'm doing to enter it as an opportunity in here.
Okay. And then there's some neglected opportunities with revenue against it, but I did go into that yesterday, and the dates are down the road. And here's a question that I have, Lisa. They're showing as neglected opportunities, but the follow-up really isn't until, sometime this summer or beyond. So is this okay?
Yeah, I mean, once again, that's perfectly fine. You've got to remember, the whole point of the cadence is pipeline building for better predictability of your forecast numbers and your revenue going forward, out, quarter by quarter going forward, going out. So if those particular
neglectful, but they really haven't, they can't be done, nothing can be done with them yet.
Right. No, that's perfectly fine, and that's okay because it is what it is, right? You want to put the realistic situation in there, and it's perfectly fine. So if the activity isn't going to happen for another 3 months, that's perfectly fine. But here's the question that you have to ask yourself, okay? And this kind of goes back to Sales 101. If the customer tells you, I do want to do a campaign with you, but I don't really want to talk about it until 6 months from now, here's my concern with that. My concern would be, okay, you don't want to talk to me until 6 months when you think you're going to be ready to do it. Well, what's going to happen between now and 6 months? Is my competitor going to call in, and is my competitor going to work with you to define what the requirements are? What is going to happen in that 6 month time period that I'm not actually reaching out and not talking to you? So you guys need to really be smart about the way that you, should I say, accept a client to tell you when they want to talk to you and what that needs to look like. And the other thing that I would suggest is, make sure that you try and get as much information about what their expectations are as far as what a successful campaign looks like before you have that activity set for 6 months out. Because like I said, what's going to happen in that window? Is the competition going to come in? Is there a chance they could lose the budget? So my point is you want to create a preventative insurance policy so that you do not lose the opportunity and you do not lose the deal, and time kills deals. So you just need to be smart about looking in there and saying, okay, well, what's going to happen in the 6 months? And you can even ask the customer, so help me understand what's going to happen between now and then, and you can determine if there's anything you need to be involved in. So if they tell you, oh, we're going to look at requirement setting, well, is there any selling that you could be doing on the side to sell that customer to your requirements and to your specific solution? Okay?
Yeah, I think that, and anyone on the call, please correct me. I think that, like the $720,000 that's noted against Duffy Green, like a big piece of that is for the Olympics for next year and for a possible fall, which is their new fiscal launch. But I know that between now and then, there are lunches that are being set up, there are invitations going out for different events. So the communication continues with the same people that we're involved with. And we're even preparing for what we can bring to them based on the date they've asked us to come back. So I think everybody needs to work that way, and if you're not, that's the only way, to Lisa's point, not to lose momentum and let somebody else into the open space.
And the other thing, too, is exactly to Maureen's point. You're scheduling a lunch, you're scheduling a breakfast, you're doing whatever. When you go to those activities with customers, you're inevitably going to bring back some very important information back into the company. So that information needs to be documented within Salesforce, because here's the thing, the last thing you want is a month before the time, meaning 5 months out, you take a look at and you didn't log any of that information within Salesforce over the course of the 5 months, right? So let's say you didn't log any of that. You have it in your head. If you were to sit down and really truly do a strategic planning session about how not only are you going to extrapolate $700,000 worth of revenue from them, but maybe $3 more million or $4 more million, you have no baseline of data for which to do that from. Therefore, any of the information you get, that should all be in Salesforce, because then at a given point in time you can go back and say, okay, well, what are all the things that I know about this customer so I can make an educated decision as to how we can grow that revenue amount and get more money from them.
Which is, it's always great to kind of get out and get to know people on a personal level and blow off some steam and, wake up in the morning with some bloodshot eyes. That's always fun. But more importantly, I think from the feedback I've received from everyone is, the sessions were really enlightening, very valuable information, and I want to kind of start this meeting off on the right foot by saying, we've got a little bit of momentum going here, and I want to make sure that, A, we carry it on into our case call-out campaign for the next 2 weeks, because we've only got the session today and one more next week going, and obviously I want to make sure that we carry this momentum going into the rest of the weeks and months as we continue to progress. So I just wanted to throw that out again. I'm really excited. I'm really pumped. I know we all learned a lot, and at the end of the day, the expectation, as I have said before, guys, is, we learned some really interesting little nuggets there. My expectation is that we're going to, use the questions that we've learned, over this case call-out campaign, the questions that we learned in our services session, IDM sessions, et cetera, all the sessions from last week, and kind of, make sure that we're asking our customers the right questions going forward. In some cases, it's going to be some inbound activity, meaning that, we do get a lot of inbound activity from our customers. Let's not be order takers and just kind of, fulfill a quote or fulfill an order that the customer is asking us to fulfill. Let's kind of reach out and ask some more questions as they relate to some of the some of the domains and some of the solutions that we've slowly been learning to position with our customers. So, with that being said, that's kind of a bit of a kickoff. I'm going to pass it over to Jason because he has some information on a new tool that he wants to share with us. So I'm going to pass it over to Jay. Jason?
Hey guys. So Carolyn, if you can give me control, that would be excellent. All right. Okay, so I'm assuming you guys can see my desktop now?
Yeah, we see it. Thank you.
Okay, good.
Just a little bit shy of $500,000, so $471,000 in pipeline. There's still some outstanding activities or plays that haven't been accepted that I'm going to get into kind of near the end here. But what I want to kind of start off and talk about here is a couple of the new opportunities that have been added. So if we could start off with this one's got Jason's name on it, but I know it was Rob Lay's opportunity. So maybe Rob, you can talk to the team a little bit about what the how you uncovered the opportunity, what it's all about, and then Jason, if you have anything else to add, you can kind of chime in there. Rob, you there?
Yep. So this was actually a customer that we quoted back in September 2009 for our case.
Hey, Rob, you might be on mute. Somebody else is picking you up in their on their phone, so could you
can you hear
check
me
your
now?
phone or microphone? Yeah, we can hear you now. Thank you.
Okay. This was a customer that we quoted in September 2009 before Dell acquired Case, and it was cost prohibitive to them back then. So we figured we'd take another shot at them now, and our account executive on the for this account was with the customer last week, and we brought up the subject of Case again, and they were interested in taking another look at it. So he got in touch with me in terms of how we move this going forward. So I looped in Jay, I talked to him briefly about the opportunity, and we brought him into the conversation with the customer, basically by email, introducing him as our case specialist, and Jay's followed up with them just for some more information in terms of number of nodes that they have and exactly what what they're looking for in a case. I guess back in the original quotes, we quoted the full solution. So Jay just wants to clarify if that's still the case, whether we need the K1000 or K2000 in here. And then once we get that confirmation, we'll be able to quote out the right solution and hopefully close it this time around.
So Rob, maybe you could walk us through how you the actual how you came across the opportunity. How did you uncover it? Were there any specific questions you asked? Like maybe you could walk us through the whole, how this ended up becoming an opportunity.
We brought this one up earlier. The original contact that we had on this wasn't there or wasn't responding. Basically, we went through a different contact at Manitoba Ledge. So. This was after the initial round of call-outs where we were kind of focusing on K-12. We were looking at some of our smaller opportunities and kind of picked this one to take another stab at. So, we picked the account. It was basically, we were going to send out the Marcom. It just so happened that Troy had a meeting set up with them. So he said, I'm going to be in person with them. Let me bring up the situation while I'm there, and that's really how it came about. We didn't go through the official Salesforce call-out play for this one, but it just grew from his meeting with them last week.
Okay, I don't know, Jay, if you want to add anything else, any further detail, anything interesting about this, maybe that the team would be interested in hearing.
Yeah, it's still in the infancy stages of this deal. The biggest thing that I could recommend is that if you guys had quoted or the customer has a quote that was either pre-Dell acquisition or early last year, just post-acquisition, I would say get in front of them again and let's see if we can get a new quote out to them. Not that pricing has changed, but in a lot of cases, the account executives were quoting out the unlimited bundle, which is kind of our biggest enterprise version of Case, which isn't necessarily the right fit for everybody. So let's let's take the opportunity to talk to some people that we've already talked to about it, and maybe we can requote them and see if the new price or the correct price with the for their correct needs helps push those deals through.